Who you are in 2026. Hi, I'm Viv, the life strategist, helping busy driven people go from chaos to clarity. And welcome to today's live. So, who you are in 2026. I'm talking about identity. Identity is the most powerful force that shapes the human personality. And we don't often select our identity consciously. In fact, it's really usually very subconscious, and you may have multiple identities. For example, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a life strategist. Those are multiple identities. Um, but identity powerfully shapes not only your behaviors, but your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. For example, if you are or were a smoker, right? You may be like, I am a smoker, right? Conscious, you don't say that, hey, I'm a smoker, I'm a smoker, but I am a smoker. And then those who quit smoking or don't smoke, they don't usually say, I'm not smoking right now. They say, I'm not a smoker. So it's about what words you attach to I am. I am love, I am joy, I am grateful. These are identities that powerfully influence the subconscious, which actually trickles down to everything that we do. So as we're coming into the end of this year, so you may identify with the identity I am busy. How many here identify with the identity I am busy? However, I know that's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of true. Does that identity bring you happiness? What does it make you do? It makes you do a lot of things, and perhaps even in moments that if you were really honest with yourself that you didn't need to be busy, maybe it makes you a little bit more busy, a little bit more rushed than you need to be. And does this ultimately bring you the happiness and the joy and the deep life satisfaction that you crave? Does it? Maybe not. So I can tell you that in the past, I there were dark times in my life where I identified subconsciously, of course, with I'm afraid, 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 because there were a lot of things going on in my life, a lot of uncertainties, particularly around my health. And so I would, if you asked me about my identity, I would never say, "Oh, I'm afraid." I would never admit to that because I didn't even know that that was the case. Uh, but I also know that there were many times in my life, and part of what got me out of that place was identifying with I am strong, I am courage, I am strong, I am courage, and always constantly pushing forward and finding a way. Now, if you are a high achiever, you may identify or relate to that, that you are strong, that you're courageous, that nothing will stop you. And that's a wonderful identity. And sometimes we need that to push through difficult times in our lives or to get ahead when we need to. Ultimately, though, I'm not telling you to give that up, absolutely not. But what identity is going to bring you what you really want, what you really need in the next year? Is it something to do? What do you want in the next year? Right? Is it more joy? Is it more meaning? Is it more health and vitality? Is it a deeper connection with yourself, with your creator, or with those that you love? You know, I think, as we come to a close of 2025, and it's a really good time to kind of think about, okay, we have an opportunity for a reset. We also have an opportunity to select who we want to become, who we want to be, how we want to show up. And one of the ways we can do that is by taking a few moments to examine, you know, what is my identity? What am I identifying with in this last year? And do I want to continue that? What is good? What do I want to keep, right? If anything, or what do I want to radically change? And how do I really want to show up, right? So just take a few moments today, and kind of think about, and if this is difficult, you can think about the patterns. Like I told you that when I was in a dark place, I could relate to I am fear or I am afraid, you know. Now I wouldn't have done that consciously. So if you ask me that, maybe it would be hard. But then how did I identify that? Was I went back and be like, well, what was I always thinking about? What was I always doing? So I was often thinking about like what bad thing could happen to me, what bad thing might happen to me, and what could be a worst case scenario with my health, or what would happen if things didn't work out. And then what were the behaviors? Planning, trying to mitigate any problems, things like that. So if I look at like what were the thoughts, what were the emotions, obviously fear, worry, anxiety, then and what were the behaviors, right? That can give you a clue. You know, people who are joyful, peaceful, they are most likely identify with a different identity. Maybe it's like I am service, I am here to give. So my current identity is I'm playful, I'm grateful, and I'm love. And this has been a conscious decision of mine to infuse my life with more gratitude, with more appreciation, with more service, with more love, with more giving, and with more play and more fun, because I love life and I want to enjoy life. So what do you want for your next year? Take some time and think about it. And if you haven't got a copy of my From Chaos to Clarity pre-New Year workbook, Reset Workbook, it's a wonderful little book that you can just download and fill out what you want for next year. So if you're interested in that, then please just drop in the comments the word clarity or DM me clarity. And as always, if you got value from this, please like, share, follow, and I'll see you in the next one. Take good care.